Hello YouTube. If you're watching this video, you might have seen my other video where I impose 8 questions to the atheists. Questions I know for a fact that can't be answered objectively or with any objective criteria. So let me go ahead and add these new questions. These questions will add context to the other questions and will make it more sophisticated to answer because these questions are more detailed. These questions can't be pushed aside, or you can't go off topic to answer these questions because these questions are asked in a very complicated way. These questions have several questions within them which all relate to the core question, and I do this for two reasons. One reason is because I don't want to read 100 questions at one time, like question 1, question 2, question 3. And the second reason is because I feel like most essay questions have several questions within them. And so let's go ahead and begin. Question 1. If you take into account theories like the Big Bang or the multiverse, which tells us that from a singular point our universe began to expand, and thermodynamics, which tells us that all the energy in the universe has an end and therefore has a beginning, how do you explain a universe popping into existence out of a realm without energy or space-time? How do you expect us to believe that the universe just popped into existence after an eternity of nothing? Do you think something else exists beyond our perception of space-time? Question 2. Are moral principles objective? If they are, on what moral foundation do you use to base them on? And what makes your morals any more right than anyone else's? Do you think that all people within your society should share your similar values, ideas, and feelings of things, even though to a lot of people our lives are meaningless and purposeless? Just look at all the crimes that go on today. That's proof enough that most people don't share your values or your ideals. I mean, why not live however you want for the day? Why don't you live however you want now? Why not YOLO and break whatever rules it benefits so that it can benefit your life experience? Why worry about anyone else but your own people, or those people you care about? Why care about anybody else? Can you honestly say that killing an innocent human being, however, without reason, isn't objectively wrong? You just prefer for it not to be that way. You just prefer that someone doesn't get killed. It's just based on preference. You feel justified in what you do, and others feel the same in what they do. I mean, what justifies your belief in holding them liable for breaking your sense of morality? If something evil happens in another part of the world, does that affect you in any way, shape, or fashion? Surely all immoral acts are simply part of nature, and nature itself isn't subjective, isn't enough reason to give us any reason to value what is good. Now, in a theist worldview, I can say that God endowed us with a spirit. For us, there are objective moral values that apply to everyone because God has made it to where our actions today will have an impact on our eternity. He molded us with an objective purpose in mind and laid down a foundation for us to follow. God laid down a foundation for us to follow. The only reason evil exists is because of free will. And we can choose to do evil despite our better conscience because our society is ignorant of objective truth that exists, which is implanted in us. So we can choose because we have free will to do evil. And people can, even though knowing better, can do evil because they're ignorant. I mean, someone doesn't need to be free, have our level of understanding. They can just be simply ignorant of objective truths. So question 3. How do you explain free will? Do you believe we have free will? If you do, why? If you don't, why not? If we don't have free will, how are we able to judge others for their actions if they can't help it, since they don't have free will? How can we judge others for what they do in life if they just can't help it? Question 4. How did the original life form come to life, and why? Why are there rules and conditions that need to be met in order for life to exist? For example, there must be H2O, the right amount of gravity, the right amount of distance from the sun. Not only do you have to get each of these things right in order for there to be life, but all of these conditions need to happen at the same time. And there are hundreds of conditions that need to be accurate at the same time. Question 5. What fossil record or evidence is there to show that our ancestors originated from the sea and looked like fish or lizard type creatures? And I'm not saying that our ancestors were fish or lizard creatures, because I know how you guys think. I'm saying that where's the evidence that our ancestors, our ancient ancestors, looked like fish, and maybe looked like lizards, or even came from the ocean? And these questions are very difficult to answer, and I understand that. And if you can't answer them, that's fine. But the whole point of these questions being asked is to prove that not everything can be answered, and that some of these answers are better answered with a God. Things make more sense if we assume that a God exists. So thanks for watching, and peace out, guys. God bless.